Catamount football. So again, welcome into tonight's program. Glad to have you with us here on this evening. Daniel Hooker from the Catamount Sports Network, joined by Gary Ayers. And of course, we've got Clark Wilhoit, our third member of the broadcast team. We'll talk with Clark tonight. We'll let Clark introduce himself, as Clark is going to be handling our social media tonight. So if you have anything you'd like to ask, anything you'd like to say, our social media influencer, Clark Wilhoit, will be with us this evening.
Thanks again, Dan. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with Gary Ayers and Daniel Hooker tonight. And if you guys have any questions, comments, please don't be shy. We'll shoot them this way, and we'll have Daniel comment on them all night. So thank you all again.
All right, Clark Wilhoit, he is our social media influencer extraordinaire. Our numbers have already gone through the roof because Clark Wilhoit is on the program. Daniel Hooker alongside Gary Ayers. Gary, glad to have you back in with us as we get ready to tee things up here in football just in a couple of weeks, as we got Catamount Athletics coming here hot and heavy. It's all going to kick off with football.
Oh, I tell you what, and it's been a long dry spell, if you'll pardon the weather pun, because we don't have any high school football in Western North Carolina. We don't have any Catamount football here in Western North Carolina. We really want to get some football going here. And hey, 2 weeks from Saturday, we're going to get some football.
Looking forward to that. And of course, tonight's program brought to you by Stanberry Insurance. 3 locations to serve you in Silva, Waynesville, and Highlands. Online at stanberry-ins.com. Stanberry Insurance, make sure we get this right. Independent insurance agency with more options to keep your bases covered for all of life's home runs, slam dunks, and tonight, appropriately, touchdowns. Joined tonight, we'll have our offensive coordinator, John Holt. We'll also have our head coach, Mark Speir. First in the studio with us, though, is first-year defensive coordinator, not first-year a coach, because he is a veteran assistant coach. It's Andy McCollum. And Coach, want to welcome you to the program. And first and foremost, want to say, why Western Carolina? What drew you to Cullowhee?
After I came here and drove over here and met Coach Speir and the staff, and I think anything you do, you want to be around people that care. And you could tell the passion that Coach Speir has for this program. Me and my wife drove up here. We drove up here without anybody knowing it, just to look around on our own. Loved it. Felt like it was a great place. Got great leadership. And then after visiting with Coach and the staff and his vision and his care for kids, and having a chance to come here and be a part of something that can be special. So I'm very proud to be here.
Well, Coach, I know it's everything this year has been unusual. Everything's been out of kilter, like we were talking about, no football. When we talk about that, I know as you come into Cullowhee and coach this Catamount defense, how hard has it been? How difficult has it been to work with these defensive guys when you can't really do it the old-fashioned way, the way we're used to do it, getting in your face, kind of, if you will, coaching this year? It's got to be strange.
It's been easy. I mean, no, I tell you what, it's not just it's across the country. I mean,
right,
and so,
right.
When all the things that you dealt with, the number one concern you have is the kids. They're the ones, and coaches, that it's gone here. We think we're doing it, and it's just gone up and down. And, I've sat there, and after being in the head coaching seat and seeing what Coach Speir's having to deal with, scheduling, when we're going to do that, I mean, it's been different. But the kids have done great. I mean, they've responded. It's been positive. You have your up and downs, but at the same time, you've seen their excitement. I think everybody across the country is so sick and tired of Zoom calls. You can't see straight. You can't get with your kids. It can't be personal. But they've responded to it. And like anything, you want guys that love playing and love the game, and they're going to try to overcome anything they got to overcome to love to get on the field and play. So it's been a struggle for everybody. Not just coaches, the training staff. I mean, the hours they've had to deal with of getting us checked in, getting us gated, getting tested, and doing all things. So for these kids that have gone, it's been a roller coaster. And by the time you think something's going to happen, it might be shut down, and nobody's fault. But to get them to come up and down, I think you really see the character of the kids. You find out the ones that love playing, and you find out the ones that are going to do things right. I mean, this has been a testing time of who's going to do things right, who's going to do the little things, who's going to do the details of do things right. So it's been a test to see, you learn a lot about the kids that way, but now that you're on the field, now we get to see who hits people, who likes contact, who don't like contact. It's like I've always told our kids, I don't like pretenders. I don't want pretenders around me. So when you get the pads on and you get out there and things start flying around, you find out who the pretenders are and who's the ones that want to play and you're getting ready to play.
Coach, they always say the old adage is that defense wins championships. So what are we going to see out of Andy McCullum championship defense here in Western Carolina?
What I believe in, and I want the kids to believe in, I want, when somebody puts a tape on our team, everybody gets caught up in schematics. Everybody, well, you're 3-4, you're 4-3. It don't matter. I want people when they walk off the field to say, look how hard those kids play. That's a testament to coaches. That's a testament to your kids. Every team we're going to line up might have more talent, might be better, but there's no reason you can't play harder. So I want a team that plays fast, and a confused player can't play fast. So I want it simple enough that they can play fast and they understand what they're doing. And when they walk off the field, they left it all out there. But that don't just go for play, it goes for coaches too. I mean, we got to put them in position. We got to spend the time that we got to spend. We got to grind it, to understand what are our weaknesses, what are our strengths, what can we do, what can't we do. I think a lot of times in this game you get caught up in schemes and you just want to run schemes. But what if your kid can't do that? So don't put them in position of something they can't do. So hopefully we're going to have, and you know what, and the bottom line, this game is still supposed to be fun. You're still supposed to have fun playing. If you're going to have fun playing, then they got to know you care about them. And so that's what we got to do, is they got to know we care. It can't be act like you care. A kid can see through stuff. So you got to, you want to care about them, but you want to care about them on the field, off the field, and if you do that, I think a kid will run through that wall for you, and that's the way we're going to coach them. I want enthusiasm. I want power. I want them having fun playing. But I also want a team that don't give, we're not going to give anything away. We won't be good enough to give something away. We can't have stupid penalties. We can't have selfishness. We're not going to deal with it. I'm not going to deal with, as we go through a scrimmage, I'm not going to deal with 9 guys busting their butt to ball and 2 guys watching. Them 2 will be standing over there signaling with me. That's just not how you play. And I think as you grow as a team, they all start pushing each other to do that. Because the film don't lie. I can take this past Saturday and I can show our kids right now, look, there's 8 of y'all flying the ball. What y'all want to do about them 3 back there that are cheering for you? Well, put them 3 over in the sideline. Let's get 3 more that'll play hard. Because, we're not going to play selfish. We're not going to play guys that don't play hard. I don't care how talented you are. You can be the most talented kid in the world, and if you ain't going to play hard and you're not going to play unselfish, then you're not a good player. Don't matter where you're at. So that's what we want, and the kids to buy into that. And it's like I said, I can look at 50 kids out there, 45 of them love playing. There's probably 5 that aren't real sure, But I don't want to take anybody on that bus to our first game that I don't trust, and that I don't believe will play hard for this team. And if we're not going to do that, I don't need them just be hangout guys.
Talking about a guy that plays hard, talking about a guy that is fun. Let's go to our resident social media fun guy, Clark Wilhoit, standing by. He's got some notes from around social media here this evening.
Well, first of all, big thank you to Ken, Jason, Katie, Gerald, and Sonia for tuning in. We really appreciate you guys tuning into this live stream. And then, Coach, I've actually got a question for you from Gerald. And his question is, how will we look different on defense this season versus last? And again, Gerald, thank you so much for your question. Turn it over to you, Coach.
Thanks for the question, Gerald. I really hadn't looked at last year. I can't do nothing about yesterday. All I can do about is today and tomorrow. So I don't bang on negatives. I don't bang on anything that's happened in the past. That has nothing to do with me. It really has nothing to do with these kids, that what we're doing now. So All I know is, and as I tell them, when we wake up in the morning, both our feet hit the floor and we're blessed. And we're blessed to be as good as we can be that day. So whatever happened yesterday is done. Ain't nothing I can do about it, nothing these kids can do about it. We got to learn from it. And we got to do those things to continue to get better. It'd be very easy to come here and bang on negatives. I don't believe in negatives, I believe in positives. And so whatever happened yesterday, that's done. Let's get better today. And, the big thing that I've seen that I want for our kids is fundamentals. I think football's still played. You still block, you still tackle, you still run to the ball. So it don't matter what kind of defense you're in. I want low pad level. I want you violent hands, and I want to run to the ball. And then when we get that part down, then you get in the schemes of it. But so hopefully it's no different. Hopefully they'll see when our kids walk off the field that their fans and their family members and the people they're representing can look and say, boy, did he have fun today? Did he play hard? I want to be proud of that part of it.
Coach, when you talk about, we talked about championships. I know we don't get into Southern Conference play until I think next February, so it's going to be a day or two. But we have some good teams coming up with Liberty, Eastern Kentucky, and of course those North Carolina Tar Heels down in Chapel Hill. But when you get down to conference play and any other play for that matter, it just seems like the good teams can stop the running game, because we have some really good teams in the Southern Conference who run the ball very well, as I'm sure you're aware. In your mind and the way you coach defense, what are some of the keys to being a good defensive team that can stop the running game?
Gap integrity. Everybody's responsible for something on this defense, and that's where you do your job. I think sometimes when you talk about run defense and you talk about run fits, it's no different than just watching film for 2 hours with my kids just now. If somebody's hat's not where it's supposed to be, then everybody gets screwed up. So it still goes back to selfish. It still goes back to team play. It still goes back to them understanding us putting them in that position. But yeah, people can, this day and time is tough to play defense. Offenses are really good. You got quarterbacks that can run. You got receivers that can go up even if you've got them covered well. So it's tough, but our job is to stop the run. I don't want nobody, it's a bad day if they can just run up and down the field on you. Now, that don't mean people aren't going to get yards on you. You play the option team, they're going to get yards.
Sure.
That's what they're going to get. It's like some defense I've been on, they ranked top 10 in the country in pass defense. Well, hell, that's because they ran the ball down your throat. So I don't get caught up in all that. I want to stop the run, but I want the best way to stop the run is get off the field. So the takeaway is really good playing defense. So I'd like for us to be just, it's like I told our kids, you wake up in the morning, you say your prayers, you call your mom and dad and your guards, and then you say get the ball. That's what I want our kids to understand. Get the ball. Get the ball, you get over and get to drink water.
There you go.
So we're going to try to find ways to get the ball. We will stop the run, or we will scheme to stop the run, no doubt about it. But stopping the run takes 11 guys to do their job and to do it with violent hands and with pad level. You can take 1 or 2 guys that get out of our gaps, and we're working on that very hard right now. And it'll screw the whole thing up. So that's what we got to continue working on. That's what we practice every day. If we just have to run one defense, everybody knows where their gap is, get their hat in the gap, get downhill, play with violent hands, get 11 to the ball, we'll be pretty good on defense. So that's what we're going to continue to work on.
Coach, you kind of talked about that, the fundamentals of the defensive unit stopping the run. Gary mentioned, the 2 seasons almost, the 3 non-conference games here this fall, the conference season coming up in February. What are you looking at to accomplish this fall? What has been your goal through the early part of this fall preseason practice? What are you looking at for this fall, the 3 games that you have coming up in non-conference play?
To be as good as Western Carolina can be right now. It don't matter who our opponent is right now, because we're fixing to play 3 really really good teams that are going to have 5, 6, 7 games under their belt. But we will not be able to play good against them if we can't play good for ourselves. So what I want is us to see how good Western Carolina can be. See how good defensively we can be. We're going against an offense that gives us a lot of different things, which is really, really good for our kids as far as adjustments and eyes and those things. So if we can walk out of here getting ready for our first game, and I can believe our kids' eyes, thing on defense that beats you just as well as anything is eye discipline. Everybody not looking where they're supposed to, where your eye is supposed to be. So that's coaching. That comes from the staff of teaching those details. And when I say details, I want pad level, I want to play low, and I want to play with violent hands. And your eyes better be where they're supposed to be. If they're not, you get beat. And it goes back just like we're talking about. I want to stop the run, but I don't want no ball over my head either. I can come in here and everybody say, well, boy, they did a heck of a job stopping the run, but we gave up 5 touchdowns over our head. Well, what good was stopping the run? That didn't. It all fits in together. So I want our kids every day to walk out there. What do I got to do better today? What did I take off this film from we just had Saturday? What did I see when we had a slant and I got a Mike backer that just saw he's too fast, he's got to play back? Well, now when they run again, can he do that? What are they processing? What can they play? What can they do fast? And can I do it with a lot of passion, a lot of energy? And, and I think it's got to hurt these kids not to have success. You want them to walk off and feel good about themselves every day. That don't mean you're not going to get scored on. That don't mean the offense ain't going to hit a play. But why? And can we get that corrected? What's hard to get corrected, what's not hard, they just don't play, is guys that go play hard. Just, that ain't complicated. That ain't changed since day one of football. Is go play hard. Let's get good at tackling. Let's get good at where our eyes are. Let's get good at our fundamentals. And the more we get good at those things, then we can turn this thing loose and let them bring them from everywhere. I like pressure. I like getting after the quarterback, and I like, kids being able to play fast. And, they'll play fast if they have confidence in themselves, and they'll have confidence in themselves when they put the film on. They're going to hit a play, just like I watched on film yesterday. Boy, there's one play I'm going to show them tomorrow. I look over there, and when you take the back view, I saw 11 white jerseys in one little area. Well, if you can do it once, why can't you do it the next play, and the next play, and the next play? But fatigue makes a coward out of all of us. So that's where we got to practice. We got to keep getting in football shape. It's easy to go out there and run these laps and all and this and that, but football speed is different than what you play. And so we got to continue working football speed. And, I watched film of our guys today, and like I said, all right, I want y'all to watch play one. Everybody had nice pad level. Everybody's bats were flat. Everybody was down. Everybody ran the ball. Then I switch that film out. Let's watch play 40. What y'all see now? Oh, we're a little bit higher. Got my hands on my knees. A little bit more tired. So fatigue sets in on that. And now I'm not as good as a player. My footwork's bad. My pad level's high. Now you get kicked. And we're not going to be good enough that we can sit there and not be a fundamentally good defensive football team. And we can't sit there and have stupid penalties.
Well, you mentioned like to get after the quarterback. Our guy, Clark Wilhoit, never liked when defenses got after the quarterback. He was an offensive lineman. We'll check in with him again. Another update from social media.
So thanks again, Daniel. So another big shout out. We've got Skip, Crystal, Mark, and Bill. And then Coach, we've actually got a question from Bill. And he wants to know, to this point, have you recognized any kid that stands out in any single way, such as talent, leadership, commitment, or any other vision that a coach would have for a student athlete to stand out?
Ooh. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. That don't mean they're where they need to be yet. I think we got some good older kids that it's important to. I think Ty Harris is changing his ways. I'm seeing some things, but he got fatigued a little bit the other day, and he knows it. But he's got leadership bit. I want to see it come on more. But I like his taking to coaching. Curtis Roach, I like his attitude. I like, he hadn't practiced in 15 days with, being out 15 days, and and they ran a bubble, and he came down here and knocked the fool out of somebody, and I'm like, oh. You know, so I like that. Trevor Childers has done a good job leadership-wise and doing everything that you ask him to do. But, you know, I think every kid, Ricky Paleo, I love his attitude. But every kid, no different than us as players, we all have our limitations. So we got to understand what those limitations are, and that's what we're working to get better at. And those guys are, everybody, coaches too. So that's why you strive to get better at it. But those guys have done what we've asked them to do. A.J. Rogers might be one of the most improved players since day one I've got here playing. I love Ronald Kent. I think Ronald Kent's, he loves playing football. You know, he's got to clean up technique, learn the system, do those things. But you know what? Every day you come out there, that kid's got a smile on his face and he loves playing football. I've been impressed with him and the other corners. Aaron Gathers has done a good job. I've enjoyed watching Gaddy compete. Jacob Harris, a newcomer. Football is important to him. Willie Hampton is a kid, football is important too, that loves playing. I've been impressed with Darius Smith. You know, and I'm missing some guys, and that's really why I hate to point out individuals, because there's other guys. KJ Milner, very quiet, goes about his business, but I like the way he goes about it. Roman Johnson's been one I've been pleased with. You know, but they still got to learn technique, fundamental, hat placement, do your job, and do it fast. So there's guys there. You know, I think as a coach, every day you wake up, you want to look forward to coming to see you guys. There's not many that I can't wait seeing every day. Now, you always got a couple that need to buy in that ain't there yet. But every day you walk in, and when I look at a unit, I'd say about 96% I can't wait to see every day. The other 3 or 4 need to jump in. And that's just being truthful. But I'll tell it to them too, and they understand that. But I want a bunch of guys that love playing football, that want to represent their families, represent this university, represent their head coach, represent the staff, do things right. And how you do things right is you bust your tail at everything you do. If you have limitations, let's help you overcome them. And that's on the field and that's off the field. And so I think we got guys that mean something too. And that's where we just got to keep striving to get those guys. And I think a lot of things when you talk about leadership ain't just running your mouth. Leadership's about how you act, how you play. When I talk to our kids about pretenders, don't come over here and act one way here and act some way over there in town or at departments or all like that. There's nobody going to follow you. So if you want to be a leader, you be a leader when you walk in that door, when you walk out that door, because kids know fake kids, and they don't want to listen to that. And neither do coaches. So I think we've got guys that are wanting to be leaders, and we still got a lot of work to do to get that. But they're a good bunch to come. I can't wait to see them tomorrow.
Well, we appreciate the question. We appreciate all the checking in on social media. Continue to do so. Coach, we appreciate your time. As we've talked a little bit about the defensive side of the ball, on the other side of this timeout, we'll look at the offense as we are joined by offensive coordinator John Holt as we continue Catamount Conversations here from the Ramsey Center, presented by Stanberry Insurance. Much more to come. Stay with us. Back right after this.
The new addition to the turf here at Bob Waters Field has been awesome. Our players love it. It's fast. There is a very noticeable difference for everybody, coaches, players, managers, trainers, everybody that's on this field. You immediately know and feel a difference.
For once in my life, I actually felt fast. The first time we even warmed up on that field, I felt like my feet were moving quicker, was able to get in and out of that turf rather than the turf we've been playing on for the last several years. Second thing is by far the comfort. There's a lot of sand in that turf, which we haven't had before, and you can already feel the comfort, which is going to be a lot better for all the constant impacts you have on the ground.
When you get something new, something different, you know, guys are always excited. It gives us something, you know, extra motivation. You know, tempo is very high. You know, this new turf for us, you know, just symbolizes new beginnings. You know, everything just perfect timing. New year, new us, new turf, so new beginnings, we ready to get rolling.
It just makes the stadium pop. I mean, you can't walk in the stadium and not see, wow, like that looks good. It makes everything in the stadium look better.
Being here for a while, being a fifth-year senior, it was great to see that we got something new, a new culture built here for Western, and it looks good. To any and everyone who participated or gave anything or chipped in to help us be able to have this new turf, I just want to say I greatly appreciate you. You give us equipment, different things like that, and to enable us to be able to perform on the field. And in return, we're going to take the things that you guys are giving us, donating to us, and we're going to put in the hard work and the effort in return to bring out wins and hopefully a SoCon championship for you guys.
As I've been here continuously, my Catamount experience and athletic experience has continued to improve, and that's just completely a testament to you guys. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you.
From the bottom of my heart, I'm so thankful for all the opportunities y'all given, not just in this turf, but in general. And you continue to change lives, and I'm really thankful for you.
The Catamount Nation always comes through when we have a special need project. It's all about the student athletes here. Yeah, it looks great. It's going to look great for recruits that come here, which is always important. But biggest thing is we've got a state-of-the-art place to practice. You know, we work all year long for 11 opportunities, 5 here at Bob Waters Field, and this is just going to help keep our players on the field and you know, give our players a first-class experience. So thank you to the Catamount Nation.
To encourage anyone to support us, what I would like to tell you is that if you donate here or that you're willing to help this organization, this is an organization, we are first a family, we're a brotherhood, we care about each other. So that means anything that we do, we're gonna make sure not only that we're doing it for ourselves, but more importantly, for the guys that are right beside us and the coaches that are helping us. Secondly, we're gonna work hard, we're gonna take anything that you give us. Like I said earlier, we're gonna be grateful, and we're gonna use those things to the best of our ability. We graciously appreciate you to come and be a part of this family. Like we are a family, and we take pride in being a family. Once you're Western, you're always a Catamount.
You know, what a great opportunity you have that you can come in and change lives. And it's an awesome program, and we're very thankful, and we hope you join the Catamount family.
Welcome back into the Ramsey Center. Our Catamount conversation tonight centering around Western Carolina Catamount football, presented by Stanberry Insurance. Again, 3 locations to serve you: Silva, Waynesville, and Highlands, and online at stanberry-ins.com. All the great folks at Stanberry Insurance, Kevin and Scott Stanberry. Give them a call today. Visit them online, again, stanberry-ins.com. And don't forget, an independent agency with more options to keep your bases covered for all of life's home runs, slam dunks, and touchdowns. And tonight we're really going to talk touchdowns. We really turn the conversation to touchdowns now. We're going to be joined now by Western Carolina offensive coordinator John Holt, Daniel Hooker from the Catamount Sports Network, Gary Ayers, our social media guru and influencer Clark Wilhoit. So again, if you have anything you want to know and you want to ask, you could drop us a note there on social media. Please do so, and we'll go to Clark here in a moment. And I know, Coach Holt, you're pretty familiar with Clark Wilhoit, but let's talk about the offensive unit. And first and foremost, going into year 2 of being the OC here in Cullowhee, what did you learn from year 1 that you're going to bring now into year number 2 in this new position going into year 2 for you?
You know, I'm excited to kind of get to follow Coach McCullum, because the things that he talked about are just what makes football work, and that's what makes you good at football. So, of course, playing hard, fundamentals. You know, we talk about it almost daily that, you know, we want our offense to be built around players, then formations, then motions, then plays. So, you know, just being able to do what we do out of some different formations and do it hard, do it well, do it sound. Of course, have good fundamentals and have 11 hats playing hard for sure. That's things we're striving for every day, and the kids are coming out and working every day, and of course we're excited to get to coach them and get to work with them.
Well, Coach McCullum joining us, he actually had a question for you. He wants to know, what are you putting in between last Saturday and this coming Saturday to get ready for that scrimmage so he can be ready for you? But you don't have to answer that on air. We can talk off air if you want to about that.
Coach, on a more serious note, and I know quarterback is probably the single most important position in football. I mean, you got to have a good quarterback to win football games, but I've always said this, and I still believe it to this day. You work with the offensive line, and I really believe any good football team, the heart and soul of a football team is the offensive line. And how can our Catamount offensive line get better this year? Because we have some good guys coming back.
Yeah, so, you know, football's about reps. And, you we took a offensive line to some games last year that didn't have as many reps.
Yeah.
We got everybody back. Got a ton of starts under our belt, got a ton of reps under our belt, and every day that we work, we get better. Guys are not where we want them to be ever. They're getting better every day. They're working hard, but starting the gel come together and playing hard. And, the biggest thing, you want when you turn the film on up front, if it's a run, you want to see, are we in the defensive grass? Are we getting off the ball? And if it's a pass, is your hat where it's supposed to be, or you square and you fighting to finish, protecting that quarterback. So, excited to work with these guys. We've got some good guys to work with, and the great thing about the situation we're in is, everybody's came back and they're working to get in shape and they're working to get ready to play football, but you can see that they're hungry to play. So that's a great thing.
Yes.
Hey, Gary, you mentioned heart and soul. Well, our heart is not here. That's Greg McLam. Our soul's not here. That's Jeff Bryson here on CSN. But our new addition that's really coming in strong and joining this crew tonight is our social media influencer, talking about Clark Wilhoit. Let's check in with Clark, see if we have the update from social media.
So again, thank you all for watching. We're going to give a big shout out to Kenny, Chris, and Laura. And Coach Holt, Laura's got a question for you. She wants to know, how are you as the offensive coordinator, but as well as the entire offensive staff, going about evaluating who's going to be the starting quarterback come your all's first game?
So the closer to the ball you play, the better instincts you've got to have. I believe that. So, as we're looking at our guys, we're looking at who can run the offense, who has that leadership, who's making the most plays. When you break down how they perform each day, we want to see, did you get your formations? Did you get your motions? Did you have your players going where they're supposed to be? Could you communicate it to everyone and make it clear? Do we feel like you've got a leadership ability in the huddle? And then, of course, when the ball snapped, are you a guy that can move the sticks, make explosive plays, and make great decisions? And, that comes down to just, is that the guy that comes in and studies? He knows the offense that we're running. Is that the guy that works hard before and after practice to make sure he's on the same page with his center, with his receivers, with his backs? Right now we've got a ton of guys that are working hard to do that. And, that's how we evaluate guys as a staff. Who can be the most productive? Who can be the most explosive?
Talking about offense, Coach, I know we lost a good quarterback last year in Tyree, and I know that's tough coming in and finding somebody to fill his shoes. But as you mentioned, we've got some experience coming back, and we've got some youth coming back. So you have a variety of things you can work with to fill those shoes that Tyree left.
Yeah, no doubt. And, Tyree was a great talent and, of course, a special player. And something that made him special was he was just able to make explosive plays and, make defensive units defend the whole field. And of course, we lost him to graduation, but we got some great guys to work with, and we're excited about working with them.
Yeah, talking about that a little bit, I know a lot of people are familiar with the guys we have coming back in Cullowhee, but they haven't seen our junior college transfer who comes in from Hutchinson, Kansas out there. Can you tell us just a little bit about this newcomer?
Yeah, so Mark Wright, he's a guy that, I actually flew out to Kansas and got to watch him practice whenever they were getting ready for their bowl game. And, the thing that stuck out to me was he was a tough kid. He was making good decisions. The practice I watched, they just got back from Thanksgiving break. They were preparing for their bowl game. And, I just remember he got hit on his own read. The end hit him pretty good at practice. Of course, he was in a jersey where he wasn't supposed to get hit. And, he didn't say a word, went back in the huddle, called the next play. And on the next play, ran straight through that defensive end. And it just showed me something about him. So, of course, we've been excited to be able to watch him and get him involved in our offense, and he's working every day just like the rest of our guys.
Of course, you've got one returner in Will Jones that's battling for that position. Philip Marcello coming in from out in Southern Miss, and you've got a couple of freshmen, some talented freshmen from down middle part of the state as well that are coming in here. So you've got a nice little battle, but that's not the only position that you've got good battles. You've got good battle at quarterback. You got some really talented wide receivers, a great leader in Daquan Patton that's leading that group. You got Donovan Spencer in the running back room. So that's got to be a luxury to be able to look at each of your rooms and know that you've got some guys with some experience that are helping to lead that co-opetition. I think Coach will talk about this. It was always, Coach Speir, we'll talk with him about it. It was always competitive competition, co-opetition. I think that was an old DW term Darren Waltrip always talked about. And always when you talked about drafting, but you got competitive competition. And I think you've got that with good leadership and guys leading each one of those different rooms.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you mentioned Donovan Spencer, and I really believe that, just our team in general starts and stops with him and some of the things he's doing. And, the thing I love about him is, he comes to work, he brings excitement. He's somebody you can count on. If I need somebody that's going to do the right thing, I'm going to go ask Donovan Spencer. And, of course, he's a guy that can showcase what it is to do things right in the Catamount way. And, up front, we've got Grady Thomas and Matt Bear coming back with a lot of snaps under their belt. But we've got a kid named Isaiah Helms who's really a good leader for us, and he's playing center for us and getting some player-driven leadership there. And, it's just when you get older players and guys who have played for you, those are the guys you count on. And I truly believe that, especially offensively, but in football, players go make plays. So, we're excited to have some of these players back, and for sure excited to keep working with them and see them perform.
Coach, you talked about, as Daniel mentioned, running backs, wide receivers, 5 starting offensive linemen that are really going to be, I think, the future for this Catamount football team. Owen Kosinski's not a bad guy to have at tight end either, is he?
No doubt. He's a weapon.
Yes.
I think he's a guy that can stretch the field for you, and he's a guy that's gotten better and bigger. He came back from quarantine. So, the whole country shut down. In the summertime, schools weren't working out and that type of thing, and Owen Kosinski came back, and the first day I saw him run, he weighed in. He was bigger than when he left. He was leaner than when he left, and, just getting after sprints. And that tells you a lot about, what a guy's about and those type things. And with a big tight end with good hands and that type thing, it makes you harder to stop for sure.
Yeah, and Coach McCollum talked about this a little bit, and you can add some from your offensive side of the ball. He talked about, hey, after sometimes 30, 40, 50 plays, guys start to that fatigue starts showing up. What are you seeing from your offensive side of the ball as far as getting ready to play physically?
Yeah, so our goal is the same. We've got 3 weeks or a little less than 3 weeks to get ready to go play. And we want our guys in the best shape they can be in 3 weeks, for sure. And, they're jumping through the hoops and doing the things that you have to do to get ready in the weight room, to get ready in conditioning. But actually getting to practice, actually getting to block, tackle, break tackles, make decisions live, that's the things that really get you in shape to go play football. And, our guys aren't there yet, but they're responding every day, and I'm excited about what they're doing.
We asked the same question to Coach McCollum about the 3 games this fall leading into the conference season and coming up in February. Is that what you're looking for in these 3 games, to go be the best Western Carolina offense that you can be? Or what do you hope to accomplish in these 3 non-conference games coming up here this fall semester?
Yeah, no doubt. And, just take some weaknesses that we've had maybe in the year prior and build on those. We want to be a more accountable offense for sure. We don't want to have penalties. We want to play clean football. We want to play hard. If we can get 11 guys that give 100%, you're going to see explosive plays. As we started the summer, the NCAA came out where you could have walkthroughs. And then, once you got through walkthroughs and we decided on our season, we got to where we could practice and do some of those things. And all that was great, but to me, football, you got to tackle and you got to break tackles. You got to be able to do it on the first play. You got to be able to do it on the last play. And that's a special thing about football. So, just seeing those guys work towards what it is to be able to play football is great. And I think this year especially, you're going to see a lot of guys play. Maybe you won't go out there and see 5 offensive linemen play for 80 snaps. Maybe you won't just see about 4 or 5 receivers. You might see 6 or 7. Just because, we got to get guys in shape, and we want to make sure they're fresh. And because our season's kind of 14 months this year, and it stops and starts a little bit. We got to be creative how we use guys, and some positions we got to dual train guys. We've had guys that have been in the backfield that have split out wide, and vice versa. We've have guys that are in the box that now are split out and that type of thing, and vice versa. And we're just trying to see how we can be the most effective. Just using the players that we have, getting better each day, and then, of course, trying to disguise it with the formations we're in and the things that we put out. And, you know, at the end of the day, if they'll play hard, we'll be all right.
Well, looking forward to that. Again, a lot of great battles across the field for the offensive unit, but good depth and a good leadership at each one of those positions. As we continue, we'll be joined by the Western Carolina head football coach Mark Speir as we continue a Catamount conversation. Thanks to Coach John Holt joining us right after we had defensive coordinator Andy McCullum. So we will continue here from the Ramsey Center, Catamount Conversations presented by Stanberry Insurance. Don't go anywhere.
Each year, we look forward to the beginning of the academic year. The anticipation grows as our student athletes return to competition.
A coach's voice speaks of inspiration to a new season of student athletes as the sound of our marching band echoes through our campus.
The locker rooms and hallways are filled with the energy that signals the students are back in Colowee. For many, it's just the beginning, and for some, it's the bittersweet final fall.
But for all, it's a unique experience that only comes around once in a lifetime.
COVID-19 has had a profound impact on all of our athletic teams. Catamount sports were canceled this past spring, and fall sports were postponed.
This has been devastating to me, my fellow student athletes, and our coaches. But like so many others, we have learned to cope, adjust, and look to the future with the hope we can soon play the sport that we love.
Your generosity from this past year helped ensure that we can continue to compete in the classroom and provides the foundation for what we need to get back to the competition.
I can't wait until the first match, the spirit of competition and the exhilarating moment of winning. It powers me in every other area of my life, from academics to my family. I can't describe the incredible feeling of running onto the field among the fall leaves of our mountains, the cheers of thousands around.
That moment of pure joy and pride as your teammates celebrate with you on the field, the sidelines, and the locker room. These memories last a lifetime. I know my experience here today will set a foundation for my success tomorrow.
It will take all of us coming together as one in order to get through what will be a challenging year.
All of us means staff, faculty, coaches, donors, student-athlete alumni, friends, and current student-athletes. It also means those who have traditionally supported athletics only from a distance.
We need you now. In order for us to get back into the competition in a responsible way, it will require an investment.
It will require patience.
It will require us to step up for our student athletes. You've done it time and time before, and we know Catamount Nation is again up to the challenge.
In response to the pandemic, we have created the We Are One Fund.
Facing $1 million revenue challenge, coupled with increased costs associated with COVID-19, we need your support in a unique way in order to keep our commitments to our deserving student athletes.
Our resolve has been tested in ways we never expected, and we need you.
We cannot compromise our commitment to our student athletes. We must continue to instill the spirit of perseverance and the strength of character that makes us Catamount strong. Join us in supporting our student athletes through the We Are One Fund.
We are one.
We are Catamounts.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Welcome back in. Catamount Conversations here inside the Ramsey Center, presented by Stanberry Insurance. 3 great locations to serve you: Silva, Waynesville, and Highlands, and online at stanberryins.com. Independent insurance agency that is there with more options to keep all your bases covered for life's home runs, slam dunks, and of course touchdowns. As we talk Catamount football here tonight, Daniel Hooker from the Catamount Sports Network, joined as always by the longtime play-by-play voice of the Catamounts. That's Gary Ayers. Again, we've got Clark Wilhoit holding down the fort on social media. So if you'd like to drop a note, a question, a comment, just say hello. You can do that with Clark. We'll check in with Clark here in just a moment as all those social media comments come in. Our social media influencer extraordinaire, it's our good friend Clark Wilhoit, joined now by Western Carolina head football coach, the old ball coach, Mark Speir. And Coach, going into year number 9, and it's a little bit later than what we would have anticipated coming up here in late November, but man, it's got to feel good to be out practicing football, and it's got to be good to start getting ready for some games coming up here in November.
Well, hallelujah to that. It's, I've told people I've quit buying pens, and I've bought a bunch of mechanical pencils with big erasers on them, and every day's a new challenge. And But you know, it's been really as both coaches have stated, our players have really responded. I think in some ways it's affected the coaches a lot more than it has the players, because we're just creatures of habit. I know this is my 30th year I know I don't look that old, but my 30th year, and what a way to spend it. You know, I told my 9 years of head coach, 9 lives, and we're the cats. So somewhere all that stuff, Halloween coming up, all fits together. You know, we got our version of the bear now from College Game Day sitting back there. So, but you know, I think a lot of it, it's just you're trying to do what's best for your players, because this is unprecedented. You know, just the struggle to try to balance the safety and well-being of your players, but also you want to give them the best opportunity when we show up at Liberty University to play a really good football team that should possibly be a top 25 football team. When we signed the contract way back, they were about 125. Now they're 25. But you know, again, it's about how do you balance the health, safety, the well-being, which Alex Scarry's done a phenomenal job. You know, coming in as a first-year athletic director and just trying to navigate those waters. But at the same token, when you show up, you want to give our players the best opportunity to go up there, be in great shape, you know, to be as strong as we can be. So you're always balancing the weight room, because we never really got a full 8-week period to develop all that muscle, that strength that shows up on the field and as well as injury prevention. You know, you got a trainer that's as you come back, and you're seeing a lot in the NFL, a lot of soft tissue injuries, hamstrings, and all. And so it's just a real juggling act, you know, trying to do what's best for your players. So I'll be ready to be bored again, hopefully next fall, when we get out there. And you know, and the other part, I was just talking to Alex Scarry today, is and I'm excited about it. It's going to sound like, oh, he's already building. You know, we've got an extremely young football team. Of our 110 players, 52 are either freshmen or redshirt freshmen. Another 28 sophomores. So you're looking at about 80 players of your 110 that are either freshmen or sophomores. But last year we were a young, inexperienced team. This year we're a young with experience. So that's kind of where you want to be as a football coach, you know, with some experience, and you still got a lot of growth, development there. And it's just, it's hard with the COVID part, you know, and the development of their bodies, and you don't want to overdo it. So it's just, it's a challenge. I'm talking to a lot of other coaches around the country, but each situation, each ball team's different. And so it's been very challenging, but to get back out, and last Saturday we had our first, you know, Mike Taylor, our longtime equipment manager, always introduces me as the head tackle football coach. We finally, you know, we had tackled, and we didn't do a very good job that day, but we haven't tackled since we played Alabama. And that was last November. And to think about that we hadn't had shoulder pads and helmets out there tackling since last November. And, you know, I was really impressed. To be honest, it was a lot better Saturday than I anticipated, you know, it was going to be. But I think a lot of that's just the leadership that Coach McCollum and Coach Holt are bringing to both sides, and just what they've talked about. You know, I've been so impressed with Coach McCollum, who's a long time, you know, he was a head football coach, I believe, for 9 years, I think it was, at Middle Tennessee State. You know, was been a defense coordinator at Baylor, at NC State. A long time there with our friend Coach Johnson, another Catamount alum, Paul Johnson, there for 9 years. So he's a seasoned guy, but I really have enjoyed having him. He's been, you know, an assistant coach and supposed to be a mentor, but it's great having a former head coach. You know, I tell Coach Moore at App State all the time, you know, I didn't know it, but you're one of the smartest men I ever met. When I coached for you, I didn't know that. But now that I sit in this seat, and it's been great having him, because I throw a lot of things. Hey, back when you were the head coach, what, and he's been great. And both of those guys, you can tell right now our players are really excited about both our coordinators and playing hard for them. And so, we just got to continue to grow, and like I said, every day is a new day, and new obstacles that you never even dream of with the COVID protocols and the COVID world are coming up. So I know that's a long-winded answer that I have a tendency to have. But it was exciting Saturday to sit back there and watch some tackle football going on.
Well,
For
Coach,
sure.
I know, we talked about offense and defense, so hey, all we got left is special teams. So.
Yeah, there you go.
But seriously, special teams is so important. As we've watched college football on Saturdays, since we don't have any yet, and we've seen so many games turn on special teams. Tell us about where we stand right now with our special teams.
Well, Brandon Dixon's coming back, and Caleb Ferguson. They've picked up really where they left off. They're punting the ball really, really well. We got a competition going right there, because Caleb just, he didn't practice it all the time. He's playing running back, wide receiver, and just comes out and, just boomed about a 50-some yarder the other day, and you're just saying, field goal kicking. Julian Pletz is back, who was very solid for us. Richard McCollum, was injured a lot and just kind of got in a funk, a golfer's funk, I call it, last year. But, man, he's really come back and done a really good job early on. We've practiced, I think, 9 practices to this point, full, what you call real practices. And he's been really solid, and we got a competition. And then, our kickoffs last year, we really, really, really struggled.
Yeah,
and
we did.
And we've got a young freshman that we signed, Paxton Robertson, out of Knoxville, Tennessee. I don't want to jinx him, but he walked on about practice 2. He kicked one about 2 yards out of the back of the end zone, and I broke COVID protocol, because I think I hugged him literally for 5 minutes. And I did have a mask on, but we broke our 6-foot distance there. He's a real talent. He's got a big-time leg. And, I just told him, and he's working field goals. He's got that leg now. I told him, I said, right now what we need to do is concentrate on this kickoff, and then we'll ease in to the field goal competition. So, I feel really, really good, knock on wood, where we are right now with our kickers, and we're working really hard on fundamentals right now every day in the kicking game.
That's great.
Don't forget, you can drop us a note on social media. Clark Wilhoit will be checking into those. Again, drop us a note if you have any questions for Coach Speir. Drop them in there. If you just want to say hello, we'd love to hear from you where you're watching tonight with our Catamount Conversation presented by Stanberry Insurance here from the Ramsey Center. And Coach, just overall practice update. How are things been going? You're just over the midway point, coming off of a scrimmage this past weekend. What can you tell us about practice in general? Kind of summing up between the two coordinators.
The first about 5 practices were really, really rough. I mean, the enthusiasm was good, the effort was good, but you could tell we hadn't played football in a year. And one of the biggest things, what I'm trying to preach to our players right now is we can't just focus on a Liberty game coming November 14th. As I said, we want them to go in as prepared as we can, but a big thing is, this whole fall for me, I've heard you ask the other coordinators, we don't go into a ball game, we don't think and go in there to compete to win. But for me, adding this Carolina game late, it wasn't about the money. Everybody think, you just did that I don't, first of all, I don't get a dime of it personally. For me, it was about more time to practice.
Yeah.
This young football team that's can be as good as they want to be. This gave us 9 more practice opportunities. Our target is to, as you said, And as Coach, I think McCollum said, is in a way, February 20th is our first Southern Conference game against Furman on the road. It was announced, I guess, last week. That for me is what this process is all about. You know, I don't want our players to go and we're, as I said, we're going to be, you know, our mentality is we're going to Liberty University to try to win. You know, however, find a way to have one more point than a really good Liberty University. But for us, this is a process to get us to what the real goal is an 8-game spring season, and to give us as many opportunities, because we missed spring ball.
Right.
COVID hit, we sent our players home, and everybody who's not playing will get 15 practices, just like it was a typical spring practice. But by us playing 3 ball games, we'll get 30 practices in this fall, which is going to make up for the 15 that we missed, plus, you know, getting the 15 that everybody else is getting. So we're going to get actually 31 practices in. And to me, it's always, you're going to practice harder when you know you're playing on Saturday. You're going to play on possibly the ACC network, ESPN 3s, whatever we get to play on now. And you're going to prepare a lot harder. So I just think as more our guys understand what these 31 days, the process is, and what the real goal is leading us to get prepared for February 20th, and what's really important, the Southern Conference Championship that we get the opportunity to compete and play for this spring.
Well, let's check our process right now. Let's check in with our social media influencer, Clark the Bear Will Hoyt. Clark, what do we got coming in on social media?
Again, thank you all for tuning in. Big shout out to Barry K., Jessica, and one of WCU's finest, Tanner Poindexter. Thank you all for checking in. And then, Coach, going off what you just said about the exposure for the ACC network or some, you know, the SEC network of those sorts, we've got a question coming in. How does playing Liberty and UNC increase the exposure for the Catamount football team?
Well, number one, you're probably going to be playing 2 top 25 football teams, 2 bowl teams that are going to go play in bowls, and you know, I think I saw today Liberty was 27th in the country and had a huge win against Syracuse last weekend, and so and then you go play, you know, what Coach Mack Brown and the University of North Carolina is doing, and shoot, Eastern Kentucky had a huge win this past weekend against a very good Central Arkansas that went and played their tails off against North Dakota State. So. You know, we've got 3, huge, really good football teams, and so I just think those give our university exposure, and what I always look for when you play up the bowl subdivisions where they had 22 more scholarships, which that's what Liberty and UNC have. You want to see do those techniques and fundamentals that both of these coordinators are talking about and preach every day. Are we playing hard? And you know, I've been on football teams. I go back to 2014. That was a year we had come off, you know, our 3rd year here. We'd come off, I think 3 wins in 2 years. You're building a program. And we open up the season in South Florida, and we're winning at halftime. I don't think that's ever happened in program history. We're there in the 4th quarter. We lose a ball game by 4 points. I think it's 35-31. Played our tails off against South Florida. That parlayed our kids, gave them a lot of confidence. They thought we play with anybody. You know, you go down to a team like South Florida and compete and have a chance to win it. You know, we got a chance to win that thing at the end of the ball game and end up coming up short. And so if you go play hard and you show them that we won our battles, we're playing with great technique, we're playing as a disciplined football team, you'll have a chance to win in the 4th quarter. And even if you don't win, your kids get a lot of confidence when they play up. And then, you know, you go play a really good FCS opponent like Eastern Kentucky. So, you know, you're not playing any cupcakes. All 3, you're going to have to bring your lunch pail. You're going to have to play well. And you know, I'm excited to see our guys go compete and when they play disciplined football with a lot of effort, and as you say, have a lot of fun, you know, and feel like you belong out there, that will breathe a lot of confidence, you know, in the little break we'll have and coming back to get ready for a quick season that'll be on us before we know it here in February.
Yeah, Coach, you know, you talked about that. We have these first 3 games. Looking down the road, and this is something you might not know yet, or I'm sure you've thought about it. After the Carolina game, do we take a break, or do we come back in January and get ready for that Southern Conference schedule that starts February 20th? Or after Carolina, do we keep practicing and trying to improve? How is all that going to play out as far as you know?
Well, we've done a lot. Again, that mechanical pencil instead of a pen.
Right.
First of all, if you play in the fall, which we obviously are, you have to give them from your last game a 30-day period where, number one, we'll be sending them home because school will be over.
Okay.
So we'll you know, we play on Friday night, December 11th.
Yep.
And then we'll come back, we'll send them home Saturday. The anticipated plan right now, we're still working on that, is give them their 30 days off. We're going to come back. The projected right now is January 11th, where we will have 2 weeks to condition them and weight training. And then when you look at what the NCAA's put out, we're going to start January 22nd. So, you know, and that again goes back to what our players are going to have to do when they go home on their own,
right?
Because it's going to be short, and there's just, you're never having that true just out of season build up those weights, because then you're going to be right into an 8-week period. And I was just talking about that to Alex Gary today, you know, and Mr. Gary's been really proactive in all this health and safety, and he's actually getting us in touch with you know, some of the top people in the business right now. Some people at Oregon State, that their team doctor that has been a part of the Pac-12. He's you know, kind of befriended the team doctor there at Ohio State, who's had a lot with the Big Ten Medical Advisory Board. And so he's had these doctors actually come talk to our parents and student athletes. So we've had some of the biggest names that are in these conversations. And we, again, you want to make sure that we're coming back. So February 20th, the Catamounts are peaked.
Right.
We're healthy. We're as strong as we can be. We're in shape as we can be. But it's a quick turnaround. So we'll send these guys home. But that was another thing playing this Carolina game. If we hadn't, we're sending our students home at Thanksgiving. They're not coming back. Then you got 2 months of your players home, you know, getting them back quick. So a lot of thought has gone into why do you play Carolina? All the extra practice. We get the condition and lift our kids, even though it's in an end phase. And our kids are only going to be gone 1 month. And you find out that's about when the body, it's kind of like losing weight. You can get off that diet for about a week or 2, but then, boy, it's shot. You're starting over again. The science has kind of told us anything over about 4 weeks, if they're not lifting or conditioning, you're about starting over. So we were saying, hey, we're sending them on Thanksgiving. When you get back, you're starting them over. And so that was another decision that we talked to these doctors about, and we all feel like that we're doing the things. Number one, it was not about the money. It was about what's going to, when we get back February 20th, what's the best for our student athletes to be as prepared as we can be. So, I mean, it's going to be a quick turnaround, and this is unprecedented.
Oh, yeah.
We've never done this before, so we're all trying to figure out what's the best thing, you know, number one, for the safety of your kids, and then number two, what gives them the best physical advantage over your opponents.
So I guess, Coach, you kind of touched upon it multiple times. Again, the extra practice time and then that shortening that period, that dead period, so to speak.
And seasoning our kids. There's nothing like experience.
Yeah. So is that what you're looking to accomplish? We've asked both coordinators the same type of question. Is that what you're really looking to accomplish here in the fall semester of 2020?
It really is. And you know, again, I want to restate, I don't want anybody to misconstrue what I've said here tonight.
Right.
We're going to win 3. Our mindset is we're going to win 3 ball games. But the ultimate goal is, as you start out every season, it's just so crazy that we have 2 seasons. We got a fall 3-game non-conference, but the real goal is what happens from February 20th to, for us, April 10th, and winning. What helps us be the very best we can be when we take a bunch down to Greenville, South Carolina for the battle for purple supremacy. We'll go ahead and throw it out there. I know you love to say that. And so that's the whole deal. And so I think what helps us, and for me, the biggest thing about this Carolina thing was, man, that gives us 9 more practices.
Yeah,
and there is absolutely nothing like experience. I mean, you can go out here and run all these walkthroughs on barrels and cones and all, but there is absolutely nothing like blocking, tackling, taking care of the football. And that's what I was so excited to see last Saturday was, are we going to tackle anybody? And I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, we're ahead of where I thought. Now, we're out of shape. We're not in a great, and that's nobody's fault. That's just part of it.
Yeah.
And so we're learning a lot too. We're going to learn how to travel a football team. We're going to learn, how do you feed a football team? Notre Dame talked about in the press. They feel like one of their COVID outbreaks was at a team dinner that they hadn't been doing. And you can get in a comfort zone because you're being tested every week, and it doesn't take but one. And so, I feel like we're going to learn how to travel. Our first 2 games, in the SoCon season are going to be on the road at Furman at Sanford. You don't want to get on the road in a bus, eating in a hotel, and then your first home game, you got half your football team because it's the first time. So there are just so many good things about what we're doing right now to learn. I just appreciate Dr. Brown, number one, allowing us to do this in our administration, and then just how proactive Alex Scary's been, that it's always about the health and safety of our players, but it's like everything else. If you take care of your players, they're going to show up on Saturday. This new turf, man, we had talked about it. It is phenomenal. I mean, it's going to help the health and safety. Yeah, it looks great, and it is phenomenal, but we're already feeling our players that they feel so much better. Our recovery time, they feel like they're recovering. And again, that goes back, I wanted it to look good, but that wasn't the purpose of that turf. And so it's been really cool to be on that brand new turf out there. And so, it's all leading towards that February 20th, because at the end of the day, when you start a season, what do you always say? It's about winning a conference championship. And then you get the opportunity to go play for a national championship. So, we're going to try to win these 3 games, but we're doing a whole lot of learning in these 3 games as well. We're going to play a lot of players. I'm going to go in there this first game kind of like a preseason mentality in the NFL. I want to see kind of what we got a little bit, and if you're not in great shape, let's go play a lot of players and let's see who we got and who we don't have. And so, I hope that's answered your question.
Well, I guess the good news is Steve White got to help coin the battle for the old mountain jug. I get to help coin the battle for purple supremacy. So I guess it is a SID tradition in Cullowhee to find some type of matchup. And of course, we do have the Opportunity Bowl, which Eastern Kentucky announced today, again, in honor of, in memory of Dr. Sheila Presley, who was a Western Carolina graduate, head of their health department, health and science there at Eastern Kentucky. So that's a good opportunity coming up here this fall. Gary, I know you're going to be sitting down with Coach Mark Speir in just a couple of days to get ready for that very first Pepsi pregame show on the Catamount Sports Network. Your final thoughts with Coach here tonight.
Well, I'd say that will make it seem more like football, because we get together every Wednesday morning and talk football for Saturday's broadcast, and it's something I always look forward to, and I hope Coach does too, because that gets us back to a little bit of normalcy, because nothing has been normal about this year at all. And I know it's driving head coaches crazy all over the country, not just here, but everywhere, even these guys that are playing every week. And Coach, keep that mechanical pencil with that eraser handy, because as we've seen in some of the power conferences and even in the NFL, They've had to take scheduling sometimes a day at a time, sometimes a week at a time. So I guess there's a lot of patience for our fans, our coaches, and our players, and we hope it all comes together like we want it to.
Well, I can't thank our Catamount Nation enough, and you know, there goes a lot of unexpected expenses. You know, testing players, that's not cheap, and you know, there's just so many unexpected things that aren't normal. And
right,
man, our Catamount faithful, they step up every time, and you know, I always look forward to our Wednesday morning because it's starting to get close to game time, and you know, hopefully this spring we'll be able to have fans and have all, you know, our Catamount faithful here in the stands. But you know, we do have a young football team, but they're hungry, they're excited right now, and I think you know, we've made some really good hires. It's great having a guy like Clyde Simmons back with all his NFL experience, and you know, just some of the new guys on offense. Graham Hobbs, our new running back coach, has really brought a wealth of experience and energy. Jay Guillermo, our tight end guy, he played center at Clemson, and man, you talk about he's your new guy. You're going to watch on the sidelines.
Well, I was going to say, who gets the nickname Tiger now? Does he take it over?
I'm staying out of his way on game day. You know, he's that guy that's just always on Red Bull, and so you know, I really like our staff makeup right now. There's a lot of good staff chemistry, a lot of good player chemistry. You know, they've really bought in on the defensive side. Coach McCollum. You know, because he's real, and it's about playing hard, and you know, it ain't gonna be about X's and O's. It's gonna be about you guys, and here's our expectations to live up to them. And so I'm really excited, and again, just thank the Catamount Nation for everything they've done, starting with this new turf to the We Are One campaign, to corporate sponsorships, to you know, everything our Catamount Club's doing, and you know, we're just excited to be playing football again.
Oh, no doubt about it. And Daniel, talking about some of our sponsors, Stanberry Insurance.
Yeah, thanks to the Stanberries.
Yeah, great Catamounts with Kevin and Scott, and people like Miffy Henley and Gorham Bradley, and all those great Catamounts that do a good job with Stanberry Insurance.
Well, Stephanie Conley, Chase and Ashley Kress, I mean, there's so many of them that have ties to Western Carolina University at Stanberry Insurance.
We just need a purple.
Yeah, well, change their colors to purple.
Change their colors to purple. Come on.
All right, call Kevin. I'll let you call Kevin and get him on that. But again, we appreciate all of our great sponsors. And again, WCU Health Services and also Harris Regional Hospital both have been instrumental. You talk about all of this planning and getting things going, and health services on campus. Again, Harris Regional Hospital in Silva have also been tremendous in helping Western Carolina get back on the practice field to get ready for this 2020-2021 football season.
No question. Folks at Harris, I mean, they're testing our players. When you talk about managers, trainers, because if you're around our players, you're tested. So we're gosh, I don't even know the numbers, 130 some that they're testing every week, and they're taking time to really, you know, to do that. And then, you know, I give kudos to, you know, Alex Gary again, is we're doing things above and beyond what's mandated. You know, our players, if they have symptoms, I mean, we're doing EKGs, echocardiograms, blood work that is recommended but not mandated, and you know, we're taking no shortcuts, and the people at Harris are helping us do that. And so, you know, as I said long ago in my press conference, it takes a village to raise a football program, and we do appreciate all the folks at Harris Hospital, Regional Hospital, and they've done a tremendous job getting our players getting tested every week. The heart stuff, just to verify that I can't even say it, the myocarditis. Whatever. I couldn't have gotten to Western Carolina yet, but you know, those are things that just recommended. But you know, but Alex says, hey, we're going to do it right, and you know, we're going to make sure our players, you know, with all this COVID, and that's important to parents, to future recruits, to know that we got an administration that's going to do things right and not take shortcuts. So yeah, thanks to this whole community for everything they do for Western Carolina athletics and our football program.
So November 14th, the Catamounts will travel to Lynchburg, Virginia to take on the Liberty Flames. November 21st, the Opportunity Bowl up in Richmond, Kentucky. And of course, December 11th, the Friday Night Lights down in Chapel Hill. We'll have all those games on the Catamount Sports Network. Again, check catamountsports.com for all of the complete information on that broadcast. Don't forget, you can check out Catamount basketball on our next Catamount Conversation. That'll come your way on Monday, November 9th. We'll have both head coach Mark Prosser, head coach Kylie Hill. We'll have them in studio here as we talk Catamount basketball, as they'll be getting their season underway. About after game 2 of Catamount football, they'll gear up with their non-conference season. Looking forward to that in a pre-Thanksgiving Day type of game. So looking forward to Catamount basketball on November 9th. Special thanks to Stanberry Insurance for their support of Catamount Athletics and, of course, sponsoring us here on Catamount Conversations. 3 locations, Silva, Waynesville, and Highlands, and online at stanberryins.com. Special thanks to our guest tonight, Andy McCollum, as our defensive coordinator, John Holt is our offensive coordinator, of course, the old ball coach himself, Mark Speir, joining us. I'd like to say special thanks to my man Gary Ayers, longtime voice of Catamount Athletics, joining us here tonight. Also thanks to Clark Wilhoit. Would also like to say thank you to the Prod Squad for all their help getting us up and on the air tonight. And thank you to you for tuning in to this installment of Catamount Conversations. Daniel Hooker saying so long from Cullowhee.